All right, so this is going to be how to create a quiz in Canvas for your students. So homework quiz, regular quiz, whatever kind of quiz you want. So depending on what your Canvas page looks like, might not look like mine, but the easiest way to do it is to click over on quizzes. And once that loads, you'll see all your previous quizzes that are there. Go ahead and you can click add a quiz. If you click these little dots, it lets you manage question banks, but that won't do you any good right now. So click plus for the quiz. You get the two options, classic quizzes or new quizzes. I started using new quizzes in summer school last year and I like it. The new question types are actually pretty cool. So I'll try to show you a couple of those. So click new quizzes, hit submit. And give it a name. So this we'll call it the pretend quiz because it's not going to be real. You're going to assign a point value. If you know how many questions it's going to be, you can always go back and change it. That's one thing I don't like is it doesn't automatically figure that out, but that's okay. Pick whatever category group that you want to have it for your assignments. Display points as how you want it. I always do points. It's going to automatically default here to external tool because it's this new quizzes thing. If you want to sync your grades to PowerSchool and click sync to SIS, then whatever the students score on the quiz will automatically go to PowerSchool, which is amazing. And even if you do retakes on them, it will resync to PowerSchool and update those, which is super cool. You can assign it to everyone that you have. You can do it by section, however you want to do it. So we're just going to do it to everybody right now. You can set a due date and a time. I don't usually go back and do that until after I've made the quiz. You can set when it's available, when it's not available too. But since I'm making a fake one, I'm not going to do anything. So you click save to start because you don't want to publish it yet. It's not ready. And it takes you in here. You can add instructions here. Do this now. You can tell them whatever you want. You have your text editor, whatever you want to do. Click done. Now you can go ahead and add questions if you like. So you click the plus and you get your options for the type of questions that you want. So I'm going to start with just a basic multiple choice question. And it gives you a spot for a question title. I don't use that very often. So you can say, which of these is a color? Put in our questions. Truck. These are pretty lame. And make sure obviously you get the right answer marked. And you can shuffle the choices. I usually do that so that when students, if they're sitting by each other taking a quiz, they shuffle, but it also moves things around. I never use the vary points by answer, but you can if there's one question that's sort of right, you can mess with that. And then if you click item banking, you can add it to a bank. So if you have an existing question bank, you can add it to that existing question bank. And what's really cool once you have these is they can be shared with other people. So those of you in my department, if you want any of these shared, I can share because guess what? They all have questions in them and you can use them. But we're going to make a new one to show you how that is. So new, make question bank. So we're going to go ahead and add it. So we've added that to the bank. So that means next year I can use that question again, which is super. So now I'm going to add another question below it. And this time we're going to do a categorization, which is kind of neat. What this one you can do is drag the items into the right category. I like these. The grading on these is a little funky because you sometimes have to go back and make sure that students get the correct points for it, but it's not too hard to do. Country and cities. So put a couple in there. You can add more and add distractors. You can add that to a bank. I'm going to go ahead and add it to the new fake question bank. That'll be in there. And so now it's there. Now, what I didn't do was change the point totals. So Some options like point value can be changed here. Some things have to be in a bank. That's the one thing is when you do something in an item bank, the way that you edit it is a little bit weird. But now you can see in my new fake question bank, I actually have 2 questions. So on a new quiz, I could just add those. Close that. And let's go ahead and we'll cancel that. And you can add a point value to any question. I forgot to do that on that, but I'll do it on another one. You can also have something where your students have to drag things into a correct order, which is neat for putting dates in the correct order. So here, let's go ahead and create one. These in the correct order. It is being weird to me. Top label. So we're going to call it words. We'll just make it nice and easy. World War I. World War II. And you know what? Let's add the word 1812 and the, let's say, that's enough. We only want to have 3. But, oh shoot, I put these in the wrong order. So that's an easy fix. You just grab this little thing over here and you just move it up. So now we've got everything in the correct order. And you could also, if you have a top label and a bottom label, you could have it be earliest, latest, whatever you might want to do. And there's 3 of these, so let's make this 3 points and let's bank that. And since I've recently picked this, it's automatically going to put it there, which is a neat thing. Another cool question is the hotspot. I like this one, especially for social studies. So let's say that we grab an image and let's just go with this one. Actually, let's go find some pictures here. And, oh, there's some horrible pictures in there. Don't look at those. That's awful. Let's go back here. And, all right, that'll work. This isn't exactly what I wanted to have. So if there was a spot on the image that you wanted students to click on, let's say you had a map, that would be ideal. You can have a square, you can use an oval, or you can do a polygon. So in this case, let's just do a square. So we're just going to do it like that. So it gives them range where kids can click. And so clicks within the hotspot will receive full points. You can give it options. No, you can't change that. And then what we want to give it a question stem. So click on non-human. That's a great question. I'm a big fan of that. Okay. And I don't know if I banked that question. It doesn't look like I did. So let's edit it. And let's make sure that we add that to the bank. There we go. Okay, so now we're done with that. And there's some other question types that you can play around with, true, false, obvious ones. Fill in the blank. These are good. Let's add that. I like these. So if you had a question here, so perhaps it was, my name is, and I teach history. So what you can do is you can highlight text, press enter. I did it wrong. Oops, this is not right. You don't type it up there. That's a question stem. This is your statement. Paste it here. My name is Ritz. Press enter, and I teach history. So now you have 2 blanks. So you can have it be open entry, and it has to be an exact match like that. And you could say close enough or regular match, or you could also do a drop down. And so you could have it be different names. And so you can have those, you can have as many as you want. You could have just 2, you can delete those. So this one could be open entry if you want, or you could give them a drop down, or you can make it a word bank. I like to use the drop downs. Math and science. All right, so let's bank that, add that, and now we're done. All right, so you can see over here it's 7 points, which isn't quite the 15 that I set it up to be. So if I go back and I hit return, that's going to take me back to my list of all my quizzes, and the one that I just made goes down to the bottom because it's new. And I can edit that here, which I didn't edit it the right way to change the points. So I clearly did that wrong, but as long as I'm here, I'll show you, click preview. Now you can see what it'll look like to students. So they can pick any of these. Okay, so we're gonna say it's tank. And for these dragging ones, oh, countries, cities. Oh, okay, so let's see. So if we do it like this, I'm obviously doing them wrong. They can drag things however they want. Put these in the right order. There. And then click on the non-human. Here we go. Okay. And then my name is Ms. Lovitz, and I teach history. And they click submit. And depending on your grading setup, it'll show you what they got. This student got 5 out of 7 points, took 39 seconds. Ooh, they don't know what colors are. And you can see that this is wrong, and those were all correct. And then this one, they can see what that range is. So that's how that would end up looking. Now to fix that part with the points, you click return. It'll take you back to your whole list of assignments. And to change your point value for what goes into PowerSchool, you have to click these little dots, click edit, change this to 7. You would click sync to sys. I won't do that. You'll want to make sure click more options so that you can give it when it's due, when it's available from, so when it shows up on Canvas, when it goes away from Canvas. Obviously, if you wanted to go to PowerSchool, click sync to sys, and then you would click save and publish. So the only other setting that is useful when you're back in here is if you go up here, click on settings. I like to shuffle the questions so that students sitting next to each other don't get the same one. I always click shuffle answers so that it moves those around. You can do one question at a time if you want to keep it more focused. You don't have to. You can require an access code. I find that to be a little bit cumbersome. They have to be logged into Canvas anyway, so it doesn't seem necessary unless you're doing it by section and maybe just don't want to have a start and end time for each one. You can set a time limit if you want. And if you do that, there is a way on students that you can moderate and give them more time if you'd like to. And I never do this filter. I don't need a calculator because it's not math, but I do like the multiple attempts. And so if you want to keep an average or the latest or the highest, you can do that. You can do unlimited or limited. If you say limited, you can say how many. If you want, you can have a waiting time in between attempts. I've done that before. It's okay. And then the other thing that you can do is you can restrict the student view, which is really good to do. I like to show the points awarded, show the points possible, and I like to show what they got and if it was wrong, but I don't always show the correct answer with incorrect response, especially if I'm doing multiple attempts, because then they know what the right answer is. So that's up to you how you want to do that. So those are all set, and you can click return. It'll take you back to the list. The reports menu will give you your item analysis. There'll be no data here. Moderate part. And once you're there, you can actually click on the right-hand side. There's areas where you can reopen it for a student. You can give a particular student multiple attempts. You can give a student who has extra time more time if you set a time limit. So there's a lot you can do in that end of things. So if you do 3 attempts or you do 1 attempt and somebody messes up, you can reopen it and allow them to just update their answers, or you can give them a whole new attempt. So that is how you do quizzes in Canvas. I love it, especially the sync to sys. Those grades go automatically to PowerSchool. Most of my assignments are homework quizzes, and they get a chance to do multiple. It's awesome. I like it a lot. So that's it. Thanks.